Watch one 10-minute video on YouTube about getting different levels of sanding paper and fucking, some oil and shit and doing it on
old people.
It's not that difficult. As far as I know, you can do it with like avocados and toothpaste and shit. Like it doesn't really take that much. Watch Mighty Car Mods. I don't know.
Don't do that.
I don't fucking know. Probably don't. They peed on one to see if that would clean it any better too. So yeah, maybe.
I imagine it got foggier.
I can't remember the result. It wasn't the best way to clean one. I know that.
God.
All right, speaking of Let It Burn, 307 Reacts, I'm Matt, that's Chris.
Yeah.
You guys, best audience in the world, and on the screen in front of us, a rarity that we've only had on the screen a few times, but every time she's on the screen, it's like
technically, she's been on the screen a lot. She's just been on the other side of the screen.
Well, okay, I guess that's true. And technically in her career, I mean, she's had her fair share as well. But yeah, you're right. It's Nova Rockefeller. The song is Lost Girls. This just came out like a week ago for us, like 3 weeks ago for you guys when this comes out, whatever the timeline is.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about this? I know it came up in my recommended stuff, and I've been seeing stuff about it, but I haven't actually, and I don't know, I haven't heard a lot from the comments section either about it. I haven't either.
I've seen two. But that's about it.
Yeah, I haven't seen people like I've what was it the last one that she was in? Tom McDonald, Nova, and Adam.
Yeah.
What was that one? Chrome.
Chrome.
That one. There were a few on there that were saying Nova's at the top of her game, like she's making a comeback, she's getting ready to drop an album or something like that, I think is what was going on. That's just hearsay in the comments, but you guys let me know regardless. Either way, excited to hear it. Every time Nova's on the screen, I always feel like we come out of her performances like, okay,
I forgot she was that good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, at one point she was signed to Def Jam, right? So like, she's obviously got the skills. So I get excited every time I'm like, yes, Nova Rockefeller, let's get it. She's like totally independent, does all her own editing, all her own work, obviously, and she's good at it. So excited.
Don't forget, we are a reaction channel that does pause.
I need to update the description.
Yeah,
we'll do that tonight. Remind me.
But anyway, we are a reaction channel that does pause. So if you don't like that, then find another channel, I guess. Or you can go down to the description and watch the video, her performance completely uninterrupted while you're down there.
Always have the link
in the description. You'll notice a couple new things, okay?
Yes.
We have a Discord server. If you'd like to hop in there and create all sorts of mayhem, that's fine.
Yes.
We'll keep the moderators busy. But yeah, so we'll have different sections in there. Like we have memes, and then we have not safe for work memes channel type thing.
Yep.
Okay, and like memes. Okay, I don't want to see pictures of your asshole or nothing like that in the not safe for work thing. Memes.
We'll moderate you right out of there, okay?
Anyway, but we have like a spot where you guys can ask car questions, post pictures of your cars if that's what you want. I mean, there's all sorts of shit to do in there. There's like a streaming room where I'll go live playing video games sometimes. Like
it's like an internet in itself. So yeah, make sure you check that out. That's a recent thing for us. There's also links
Shouts
in there.
out to Brandon K.
Yes, there's also links in there for our affiliate links for Sweetwater. There is a link to our Patreon account, which we were up to like almost 40 videos over there. So if you're not subscribed over there, $5 a month gets you access to literally everything on that page. So there's also a link to our PayPal if you want to help us out directly. That's the best way to just direct inject cash right into our wallet. There's no middleman. It just goes right into Chris's bank account butt, and that's the easiest way to do it. We're not asking for any of that. We just want you to hit the subscribe button. We're just going for subscribers this year. It's just a lot of information down there in case you're looking for other outlets. That's it. Shall we?
Let's get it.
Let's go.
We were meant to do much. Kids in a system that nobody loves. Sitting in bus stations, sun coming up. Nowhere to sleep, so we need to find drugs. All we had was us screaming, don't give a barely 15, but we had to grow up. Arms full of cuts and nobody to trust. How can you have dreams when you're us? I was always hanging with the lost girls. They're running from the cops, seeing a lot of girls. Can I crash at your house? Nowhere to go, girls. Now the escorts are overdose, girls. Thinks you'll sell for a little more liquor. Ooh. Now you're homesick for a place that you've never known. Ooh. All we know is climbing fences in the dark. And all we know is growing up was way too hard.
Man, sucks you in. By the way, is that the same guitar that they used in BFGF forever ago?
If it is, it's got a different pick guard on it now, because I don't think the one in that video had a black pick guard. I think it was white. However, I can't confirm that. It's been too long.
Let us know.
I think it had a white pick guard. But I mean, they sell Fender pick guards. You can pick those up for $50 a pop or whatever on the internet.
Gosh,
so,
and sometimes even 10.
Well, yeah, if you get like the Amazon knockoffs, but if you get them like from Fender and you get them with the the pots in it or whatever, the volume pots in it, it's like $100 or something like that. Yeah. So not super expensive for a full replacement. So could be. I feel like the body's the same color. It looks
really familiar to me.
I feel like the body's the same color. Yeah. I like the little mini orange amp. I like the whole vibe of the song too. You know, it's just talking about like having a rough childhood as a kid and like having to grow up before you were growing up. You know.
Well, that and then she mentions like, you know, some of these girls that I'd go and hang out with, like became escorts, or now they're like overdosed in the streets, and like not everybody made it out, and like that's.
Like you see them, like
rough,
these girls that I grew up with, and it's like, oh, wait a second. You see them working the street, and it's like, whoa. And like, we don't get a lot of that around here. It's pretty small town stuff around here, but it puts into perspective.
Most of the people that end up that way end up in Denver, so they end up moving.
And typically, I think mainly just because of the weather. It just is nicer there, longer. You know,
a little longer,
a little longer. But they also don't get the wind and stuff. You know, the winters aren't technically as harsh down there in certain parts. Now, I'm sure in certain parts of Colorado, it's just as bad, obviously. So, I mean, certain parts of New Mexico, Colorado, there's certain parts of all the country that are that bad. But yeah, man, and just kind of having to like fend for yourself. And that family abandonment thing, which I feel like, you know, I was fortunate enough that like I did have a family growing up my whole life. They, you know, I never had any abandonment issues or anything like that. We didn't grow up lavish. We weren't rich by any means. I mean, I remember plenty of nights eating like cut up hot dogs and like macaroni and cheese, and like that was dinner. You know, like that's what we ate. Just these little, microwave this or that, or like real quick stovetop this and that. There's all sorts of super quick.
Dude. There was a time that I lived in the back of a church with my mom and my brother.
See?
Okay.
Yeah.
And we made ramen in a coffee pot. And we didn't have a dishwasher. We didn't have a shower, nothing. So it was all like wash rag baths and shit, washing your clothes in the sink. Yeah. Like, it was crazy, bro.
And like I was just gonna say, I remember like those super cheap packs of like boot egg ham or butt egg or whatever it is, like the really cheap like 88-cent like.
Oh my god!
It's like BUDDIG or something like that.
It's all
like,
it is.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just salt.
I remember buying a bunch of those, and like a lot of times it was just like a big thing of mashed potatoes and like dollar gravies, mashed potatoes, and like dollar
the mashed potatoes, the powdered mashed potatoes,
well, I guess I don't know, a bag of mashed potato or a bag of potatoes back in the day wasn't a whole lot of money, so probably about the same to peel them and do the whole thing. But like, you know, just pretty much just a big thing of mashed potatoes and like cheap superficial ham slices and that, you know, like the cheapest fucking dinner. So like, I'm not saying I grew up homeless or anything, but I'm also saying like I didn't have this crazy rich lifestyle as a kid. I definitely experienced my fair share of like my family grew up technically, if we're talking like the socialism line or whatever, we were poor. We were in the poverty line. You know, we had a house, but like my parents
were scraping just
100% paycheck to paycheck, and like definitely had to budget super tight and like make sacrifices for sure. So I don't exactly know the experience of you know, growing up in the streets and doing that thing. However, I know that that's a very common problem and is becoming more of a common problem as society gets kind of more like unwound and just kind of like disconnected.
It's wild. I was just watching a guy today talking about you know, he does YouTube, but mainly his main thing is Instagram and TikTok. He'll make little shorts and he'll react to different things that are happening in the music industry. Like, that's why I follow him.
Okay.
And that's how I found out about that whole Taylor Swift thing, bypassing the distributors for her movie. But anyway, so he was talking today. He was reacting to this realtor, and he's like, listen, if you can buy 10 rental homes before you're 30, he said, you know, you're set, dude.
Well,
and it's like, what the fuck do you think we're out here trying to do? Like, He's like, yeah, sorry, like we weren't born 20 years ago where we traded a handful of raspberries for a $200
10 rental homes by the time you're 30. Yeah. I would say anybody who's able to do that is probably on the track to success.
Yes, they were probably successful already. Okay, that's the...
Look, if you're in a position where you can buy 10, you are already successful.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, you're there.
Right, you're there. You made it. Now you're just bypassing into capitalism and entrepreneurialism. Like, that's just...
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, so it was just a whole thing where he's like, listen, man, like, shit nowadays is not what it used to be. Like,
dude, that might be the guitar. I don't actually know. I don't know.
Anyway,
that was a good question.
It's rough out here, man, and it's getting worse than what it used to be.
Oh, it's every year.
Every year.
Let's see what happens in 2024, huh?
Yeah.
It's going to be a wild ride, boy. Buckle up. Let's go.
Nowhere to go but found someone to boo. Someone got drugs, so tonight it's the moon. Got no one to be and got nothing to do. Barely 15 when we dropped out of school. No one to care, nobody to call. Wearing whatever we steal from the mall. Lost a few on the way, paint their names on the walls. I swear that it wasn't our fault. I was always hanging with the lost boys, the random from the cops, the lock boys. They're out there selling rocks, popping off boys. Now they're doing drugs, so they got shot, boys. Oh, the things you'll do to make time pass quicker. Ooh. Now you're dope sick in a highway motel alone. Ooh. All we know is climbing fences in the dark. And all we know is growing up was way too hard. And all we know is we missed who we lost in the park. And all we know is perfect people that we are.
All the Sour Patch Kids, dude. I'm taking it.
And all we know is climbing fences in the dark. We're too much, kids in the system that nobody loves. Is growing up was way too hard. Sounds enough, nowhere to sleep, so we need to find drugs. Is we missed who we lost in the park. Screaming, don't give up. Barely 15 when we had to grow up. Is perfect people that we are. Also look us, look and you have dreams in your eyes.
Damn. Twitch. Nova sucks at video games. Same, dude. Fucking same.
I feel like that's a relatable gamer tag for sure. I mean, my gamer tag in Bad Company 2, for crying out loud, was Randy Rocket. Random Rocket, right? Like just Randy Rocket, like that. And that funny
just
thing,
throwing ordnance everywhere.
Yeah, I didn't even use rocket launchers that much. It was just like I was just kind of like,
dude, when it came to Battlefield, exclusively.
If I knew that your ass was in a top window of a building, especially in Bad Company, because it was all about building destruction and like environmental like collapsing.
That building's coming down.
Oh, bro, if I know, I'm not. I know you're on the outside wall. My intention is not to hit the outside wall where you're at. I'm shooting through the window and hitting the interior wall next to you, so the entire building collapses on top. Like that kind of. I don't want to just kill you. I want to watch the building collapse on top of you.
Dude, that was the best. Like, especially when, and I don't remember if in Bad Company you had access to tanks and all that.
Oh yeah, tanks,
like,
helicopters,
dude,
motorcycle, and where's the motorcycles? I can't remember. But
just seeing gunfire coming out the windows, and I'm like, oh.
Yep.
It just rammed the bitch right through.
Well, and you had Apaches too that had the Hellfire missiles too.
Yeah.
So you had like 4 or 5 Hellfires that would just choo, and it's like that. You just wipe out. You could wipe out tanks. You could wipe out the whole side of a building in one go, dude. Yep. Battlefield was I don't know how we got onto that from Nova Rockefeller's video,
because we were talking about Nova sucks at games.
Oh yeah, that's right. Her Twitch tag. Yeah. There was a line in there that I wanted to go back and listen to. I can't remember what it was, but dude, that was a very.
It was a good song. I mean, it's a very powerful song. Takes you back to like all the memories of people you used to know, maybe not even hung out with, but people like you used to know, maybe go to school with and shit, going, I wonder where they're at now.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I remember, I was thinking, like, it's not even necessarily kids that came up with like bad childhoods or anything like that. It's kind of just like the circles that you run in. Because, like, I know that, like, one of my close friends had good parents coming up as a kid. However, he was kind of in situations like that where he would, you know, find himself, I don't know if it's like personal decisions or maybe it's just being a kid, you know what I mean? You just find yourself in these situations where you don't necessarily have resources for things, you know, and you don't want to work for things because that's, I don't want to work for it. So you kind of pick other options that maybe aren't necessarily the most responsible way to go about things, right? And so it's not necessarily that you're like that you came up bad or you had a bad upbringing. It's just that, you know, part of being a kid is kind of like pushing your boundaries and seeing seeing how far you can get before you actually get in trouble. And I know that for some kids, especially some kids that I remember growing up with, like, that's kind of an addicting thing. Like, kids get addicted to pushing the line and seeing how close they can get to getting caught before, you know, they actually get caught. So it's not necessarily, like, I guess it's not necessarily, what I'm trying to say is it doesn't all come from being rooted in, like, bad parenting and, like, a bad upbringing. Some of it's just, like, being a kid and you're trying to make friends and figure yourself out in a social world, right? And you come across these people who you think are, like, gonna be your friends and, like, do the thing, and then before you know it, you find yourself doing this kind of shit that's like, wait a second, this is against the law and I probably shouldn't be doing this stuff, but it's fun and, like, it worked, like, we've got stuff and, like, this is how these kids are surviving. So you're just very easily manipulatable and manipulated, I should say. And I don't know, I feel like it shouldn't all be placed on kids just with bad upbringings, you know? Like, I feel like it's kind of, you're susceptible to that maybe through your whole life. I don't know.
And even some kids who it appears they have a good upbringing, you know, their parents have the money, they pretty much, anything they want, they get, they like whatever. Like, you never know that it's like, you know, the reason they get out and get into trouble is because they have a resentment for their parents because their parents typically want them to be as successful as they are, and so they push them and push them. They've got that angsty rebellion
inside of them, you know, so it like pushes them to do it more. Like, the more you say no, the more I'm going to do it, kind of thing. Exactly. Again, from being a teenager, like, teenagers have that instinctively built into them. Like, oh, you tell me no? Okay, well, watch this. You know, like,
that's how I got to where I'm at today.
Super interesting. Obviously, Nova's coming at it from a place of, you know, like, having a hard upbringing. I get that. I'm just kind of trying to, like, you know,
see, that whole gas station scene, dude, or the liquor store scene, this shit had me dying because the other day I'm at the gas station. Typically, when I come to the studio, I go to the gas station, I'll get a tea and a drink and sometimes a can of dip. And so I'm waiting in line.
A couple of snacky poos.
Okay. I'm waiting in line. And there's this teenage girl at the thing checking out. And she's like, I watched her. She put her card, but she didn't put her card in all the way. And she's like, oh, it's not doing anything. She's like, really? So then she, like, flips the lady behind the counter flips the thing around. And I'm watching this chick grab a tube of chapstick. They had a thing, a chapstick, right? Grabbing a tube of chapstick after tube, just putting them in her pocket, right? Right in front of the lady. It's not like they're hidden behind something. It's like right here.
Oh, the girl was grabbing them.
And the fucking lady behind the counter has clear view.
Oh, no.
Okay. And this lady's just doing this while she's distracted. She's like, I don't know what's going here. Let me try it again. So she punches in, puts her card in. Oh, yeah, it's taking forever. And she's just like, the lady's like, okay. So she's looking on her little till thing and she's just emptied that whole fucking thing, dude.
How many tubes of chapstick do you need, first of all?
Dude,
okay.
Let's
be conservative here.
This is not an exaggeration. 20, 25 maybe, took all of them. Okay, the whole thing was fucking empty. I was telling Kenna about it because she was waiting in the car with me, right? Or she was waiting on the car, and I go, dude, you're never going to believe what I just witnessed.
Yeah.
She goes, did you tell the lady? I go, fuck no, dude. Like, if you're the cashier and the shit is right in front of you disappearing and you don't see it, fuck you.
That's kind of on you. Well, and what responsibility is it of you? It's like, I'm not getting involved in that. That's
Oh, dude, I laughed my ass off.
I don't want to be a part of that. That's not my business. Like, it's not my thing. That's kind of how I live my whole life. I see random shit. I mean, we live in Wyoming, right?
Yeah.
I see, especially we live in Casper, Wyoming. See random shit like that happen all the time, dude. And 99% of the time, depending on the level of maliciousness, right? I'm like, that.
Whatever. It's just chapstick. Like.
Not my business, dude. It's not. I don't know this person. I'm not involved with this place. That's why places like this have insurance. They'll file a claim. They'll get their money back. That's why you pay per month on the thing. It's just, what it is. That's just how life works.
I could not believe.
However, the cleverness of this girl to walk up and know that I can put my card 3/4 of the way in and just create this ruse of I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's.
And she's like looking this chick in the face, just pocket and chapstick, dude.
At a certain point, it's on them, right? At a certain point, it's on them.
I was like, you know what? If she didn't see that happen, whatever. Fucking whatever.
Anyways, amazing song, great message. I think that's one of the ones that like I can hear the girl listening to that like throughout the day, you know, cleaning the house, doing whatever, like having that on her Apple Music.
Yeah, the chorus is huge.
It feels like it's got like that very. I don't want to call it like radio rock ready because that's like mainstream shit, but like
it's got a very. Tom McDonald has had some songs that were structured the same, where it's like really broke down in the verses, but then the choruses are huge.
Yeah,
kind of sing
really good, man.
Shit.
Really good. Yeah, it was awesome. Regardless, I can definitely see that on multiple playlists. So
yes,
yeah, way to go.
Well, if you guys
5 out of 5
enjoyed today's 5 out of 5 video as much as we did, be sure to go on down and steal a subscription.
Yeah.
Steal a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Steal that bell. Turn it to all. Become part of the notification gang.
Almost lost my headphones.
We'll be thieving with y'all next time. Ow.
Yeah. But yeah, man. That like it's the same thing with like when you guys were fixing the WRX and you were like, we need a turbo bracket, and I was like, okay, well, there's none available from Napa. There's not one from your guys' things, but it was like, well, I can find one on eBay that's like the Subaru part and has a little sticker and it's like the part. So and that was the thing is like, yeah, that's the one, but again, we can't insure it. So if we put that thing on there and it breaks and that's what causes your next turbo to go out, well, that's not on us, dude. So yeah, just little things like that. They're charging. Look, they're charging you a little extra at the mechanic shop, but it's because you can keep coming back until the problem is fixed, and they won't. You know, that's just what it is.
I've had some like Jesus Christ.
Oh,
dude.
I know you've had your frequent flyers, man.
This guy and his headlight bulbs, okay, works out the power plant. Uses that high beam a lot.
Oh yeah.
Okay, he come in every 2 weeks. Man, my high beam's out again. Same side? Yep, same side.
Really?
Fuck, dude. Okay, so we put the expensive bulb in it to begin with, and then that failed. 2 weeks later, came back. We warrantied out. Put the same expensive bulb in it. And no charge to him, okay? And then he goes out 2 weeks later, comes back, hey, man, it's burnt out again. Well, fuck, so I'm going to put a third one in there. Third time's a charm, right?
Okay.
So this time it lasts for about a month. He come back, hey, man, that bulb's burnt out again. Well, son of a bitch, you know what? Let's do this. I'm going to warranty that bulb again, but I want to replace this connector. Maybe there's too much resistance.
I was going to say, is there some sort of, it's got to be a wiring thing.
I said, I charge a half-hour labor to wire it in, and then you just, buy the connector bulb.
Yeah.
So he's just paying for the connector, and then I'm going to do the bulb for free.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, cool. So we do that. 2 weeks later, come back again. Dude,
what the hell?
Fuck, dude? So I was like, you know what? Fuck these expensive bulbs. I call up Napa, hey, what's the cheapest light bulb you have for this truck?
Some Duralast fucking...
We have this one. I charged the customer...
Some CarQuest fucking thing?
I didn't charge the customer, but what we would have charged the customer was like $3 for this bulb, okay? And the ones we had put in it were like $30 a side.
Damn, okay.
So, put this $3 bulb in there. I haven't fucking
Still
seen
running?
it since, dude. Fucking, that was like a year ago.
Just because it's got a big price tag on it doesn't mean it's the best option for the job. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what, those more expensive ones, they are a little bit brighter. The light clarity is better.
That makes sense, yeah.
But
if it
only lasts a month,
if it's at the cost of it burning out after less hours, then I get the shitty one and just let it burn, baby.